like to call to order the
Can't you
13th
see
December 2021 Jackson County
what
Commission
that
meeting.
woman, oh, she been doing to me?
Items, new business today and in our work session. At this time, I'd like Mr. Manning, our county administrator, to please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Mr. Rich?
Present.
Mr. Venable? Mr. Buckner? Present. Mr. McBride?
Present.
We do have a quorum. To say Mr. Venable called with his apologies. He strep and he decided it would probably be best that he's not here among us to with that. So we
Thank you, Mr. Venable. Thank you. Thank you.
and we do hope that he gets well soon. If we would all rise, I'll ask Mr. Porter, our county attorney, to offer our invocation, and Commissioner Rich to lead our pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray together. God our Father, you are so great and you're in charge of all things. We acknowledge that. We're thankful for this joyous season where we get to celebrate the birth of our Savior, Christ, and we're just thankful for this part of the season. But we know that even in this part of the season, there are tragedies and bad things that happen. And right now, God, our hearts and our prayers go out to those folks who have been affected by the tornadoes over the weekend, the tragedy and the loss of life. We just pray you'll be with families. We pray you'll be with rescue workers. Watch over them and guide them and help them make life better for those that have been affected by the tornadoes and bad weather. We're also mindful that there are still among us those that are affected by the COVID virus. Their families have been affected. So God, we just pray for them, pray for those that have been affected in every way. God, we're thankful for the day that we have them, because you give it to us and we celebrate it each and every day. We offer this prayer in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packets, you have the agenda for today's meeting. A couple of notes. On adjustment of the agenda, we will defer new business item I. The hiring committee made a selection, but we were notified that the selected individual has to decline because of a family personal issue. So we will defer that item to the next meeting and allow time for the hiring committee to reconvene. Also in the work session, item C, under commission, item 1, the personnel policy issue. We will defer that item until our next session, wanting to have all our commission members here to discuss that. So at this time, can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have any awards and presentations for today's meeting? Any public comment? No public comment. So with that, we'll get to our new business portion of the meeting. We have a number of items today. First, in your packet is the minutes of our October the 25th, 2021 meeting and November the 8th, 2021 meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of October 25 and November 8 as stated.
Have a second. Have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. At our last work session, we had a discussion about the holidays. As this time of year, every year, we approve our next year's holidays. And we discussed that we would consider the holidays that have been approved by the state of Alabama and adopt those holidays. In the packet is a list of those holidays for your review. So at this time, do I have a motion to approve the 2022 holiday schedule?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2022 holiday schedule.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Earlier, before our Thanksgiving holidays, the commission voted to give our employees of the county the 23rd of November off as an additional day holiday, the day before Thanksgiving Day, to give them the opportunity to travel, be with family, and to prepare for together with family. In doing that, we had a number of employees that were planning to take some leave time that day so that they did not exceed the 600 hours carryover. What we are proposing here is to allow that those employees with over 600 hour annual cap to roll over 8 hours into calendar year 2022 due to the holiday that we gave prior to Thanksgiving, but a stipulation that those 8 hours be taken in the first 3 months of the year. So do I have a motion to approve the employees over 600 hours annual cap to roll over the 8 hours into calendar year 2022 with a stipulation that it must be taken within the first 3 months of 2022?
Yeah, I make the motion that we approve the rollover of the hours with the stipulation stated.
I'll second. You have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Several meetings ago, we had Mr. Johnson come and talk to us about the loss of his son and the establishment of the Danny Kendall Johnson Foundation. And he requested that we pass a resolution in memory of his son and recognizing the Danny Kendall Johnson Foundation. We discussed that at our last meeting. We certainly appreciate Mr. Johnson's time here, his discussion with us, and what they're trying to do with the Danny Kendall Johnson Foundation. And the provision of that, the goal of that is to have an impact on the community by being involved in legislation and providing support to families in similar situations. And the foundation also provides with the public with current information as it pertains to legislative laws in regards to the impairment of individuals driving while asleep, drunk, or other impairments. Do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution for the Danny Kendall Johnson Foundation?
Yes, I will proudly make a motion to approve and sign the resolution for Danny Kendall Johnson Foundation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Again, we'll say thank you to Mr. Johnson for being here and sharing that story with us and what they are striving to do. Next in the packet is a motion to approve and sign a resolution for Jackson regarding the Jackson County Water Authority. The resolution states in summary that the Jackson County Water Authority is charged with the duty to develop a master plan of operation for the Water Authority in consultation with the county or local government, and that the Jackson County Commission has a need to know the operations of the Water Authority and the effectiveness and adequacy of water services provided to the citizens within their operating area. And as the Jackson County Water Authority receives public funds to include the potential receipt of American Rescue Plan Act funds. And whereas the Jackson County Commission has received inquiries of concern regarding the lack of water services provided to the areas within the service area, therefore that it be resolved that the Jackson County Commission recommends an amendment to the Alabama Code providing for the incorporation and operation of the Jackson County Water Authority to further provide for reports to be provided by the authority to the Jackson County Commission on a regular basis describing the ongoing operations of the board and granting the commission specific authority to replace board members under certain conditions specified in the amendment to the local law. Do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution for the Jackson County Water Authority?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, a second.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next in our new business is motion to approve a job description change for our chief appraiser. We had a discussion at our last meeting regarding that and discussed the changes to the job description. That job description is in your packet with the changes that have amended. For discussion, we request a discussion of the changes to the job description.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so a motion to approve.
Motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Also, as a part of that discussion in our last work session, was given the changes of increased responsibility to the chief appraiser in mapping and appraisal, that we recommend a step increase for the chief appraiser. So that request is in your work packet. So at this time, do I have a motion to approve the step increase for the chief appraiser in mapping and appraisal department for the Revenue Commission?
I'll make a motion that we approve the step increase for the chief appraiser in mapping and appraisal department for the Revenue Commission.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Also, discussion last week was that we have an individual that is working in the revenue office in mapping and appraisal, is a contract person, and they have been contracted at the maximum amount of pay for a contract person, retired personnel who are back on contract. This year, the state increased that maximum pay allowance. So there's a request that we approve the increase of that individual's pay to the new maximum pay allowance. That request is in your packet, request from our revenue commissioner. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the pay increase for contract personnel, property appraiser, and mapping and appraisal department for the Revenue Commission.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
No, I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next in your packet is information regarding the negotiated cleaning contract for the Jackson County Park, cleaning contract for our cabins. At this time, I would like for discussion to invite our Director of Parks and Recreation to briefly discuss the result of the negotiations.
Hello, gentlemen. As you recall, we received the one bid, which we rejected and entered into negotiations with the sole bidder. The bid that we did receive was for $75 per cleaning. We negotiated a price of $60 per cleaning with the stipulation that the reservations that we currently had at the time of the agreement would be at the current price of $50, which customers have been quoted and have already reserved for. That was agreed upon. We also talked a little bit about communication, hopefully communicate scheduling a little better on our end, and also outline the expectations a little clearer than they have been in the past. So we're pleased with that. We also have the terms to be 1 year with 2 renewal options for up to a total of 3 years if we renew all the options.
Any further discussion? Okay, with that, do I have a motion to approve the cabin cleaning contract for the Jackson County Park?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Also, at our last meeting, we had a discussion about uniform bids for the sheriff and jail uniforms. And In the packet, you have a request from the sheriff's office stating that they have reviewed the two bids that were received for the uniforms. Gales, excuse me, is the low bidder, and they were the only vendor to bid on the brand of uniforms requested in the bid package. With that, do I have a motion to award sheriff and jail uniform bids?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion, have a second?
Yeah, I second that.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. In your packet also are 4 resolutions that have been submitted to us by the Invest in Alabama Counties team. They are the team that is working with the counties that are teamed with them on the ARPA activity. They are the team that is helping us in the administration and execution of ARPA funding. And that's in these resolutions, they are proposing policies that we would abide to as we team with them and work with them in their assistance to us in executing ARPA funds that we have, American Rescue Plan Act funds. With that, we will take each separately, and Mr. Manning is ready to explain these if we have any questions. So
Just a question. It allows us to participate, but are we only allowed to purchase and enter into contracts with this group?
It's completely up to the commission.
Okay.
This just allows you to join in with if you choose to. You have to have this resolution if you are going to participate in the joint bidding.
So this does, and we have talked with the IEC team. We are allowed to execute on our own, but if we do participate with them in a bid process, then we would follow these policies and procedures. So so the first one is regarding the joint bidding process. So do I have a motion to approve and sign a resolution for joint bidding program for counties participating in the IEC program?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. We approve and sign the resolution for joint bidding program for counties participating in the IEC program.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The second resolution that they have asked is for us to designate an individual as the program director for the projects funded with the county's ARPA funds. The recommendation is that the chairman of the county commission be designated. However, it also clearly states that it is based upon resolution approval and program approval by the commission as to what is executed. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution for designation of a program director for projects funded with the county's ARPA funds?
I have one question before we get on that. When do I get to ask that?
Right now.
Okay, all right, good. So in for whatever reason, if there's if the chairman is unavailable, is there a way that we can have a designee so the project's not stopped for whatever reason?
And it does, this resolution does state that the commission can designate later someone to act in that capacity.
Sounds safe to me.
And the commission also could make a change in that at any time. We just have to have one appointed.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve and sign a resolution for designation of program chairman, a program director for projects funded with the county's ARPA funds as stated in the resolution.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And our next has to do with approving the attached addendum to the resolution as our policy and procedure for the expenditure of any ARPA funds for the cost associated with increasing the number of county employees to meet the pre-pandemic level of employment within the county. Let me ask Mr. Manning to discuss this briefly.
Yes, sir. This would allow, there's a worksheet that the payroll department would complete quarterly, and it'll list the number of employees that were pre-pandemic and the number that are at the end of each quarter. And it would allow the county, if you so choose, to make that, the difference of you could get ARPA funding for that. For instance, if we had 227 pre-pandemic and we had 226 at the end of any one quarter, there's a formula in there that you can calculate a certain percentage of that based upon a weighted average of the entire payroll system. So if the commission chooses to replenish some of that money with ARPA money, you fill out the forms and do that quarterly. And this, if you look at page 2, this basically is the table of contents that shows you how the process you have to go through. You also have to adapt this, or you need to adapt this as part of your policies and procedures going forward for handling any of the ARPA funds. So this is their recommended.
So what's the advantage to the commission as a whole and to your office?
Well, it would be, the advantage would be, the choice would be each quarter, if you want to use ARPA funds to replenish some of that money, you can do that. This gives you the flexibility to do that. Doesn't, you don't have to. If you want the money obligated somewhere else, you can use it somewhere else. But this simply allows the commission to make that determination.
And it basically allows us, if we wanted to hire up to the level where we were pre-pandemic, that we could use ARPA funds to pay for that hire.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Sounds good.
Okay. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution with attached addendum 1 for expenditure of ARPA funds for costs associated with increasing the number of county employees to the pre-pandemic levels?
I'll make that said motion.
We have a motion, and a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The last that the IEC team has provided us for consideration and approval is a motion to approve and sign the resolution to adopt premium pay program implementation policies and procedures. As you know, we work very extensively, very closely with the IEC team as we established our premium pay policy and approved it with resolution as a part of our FY 2022 budget. What this resolution does is it acknowledges the project for premium pay and the policies and procedures associated with that, and we are in compliance with those policies and procedures. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution to adopt premium pay program implementation policies and procedures?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve and sign resolution to adopt premium pay program implementation policies and procedures.
Do I have a second?
I'll say that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. With that, we'll move into the work session. We have two areas. First, sanitation. We have a surplus 2002 Mack garbage truck. So with that, please, ma'am.
This is a 2002 Mack garbage truck. It's a rear loader. We no longer use this style garbage truck. We use all automated sidearms. In your packet, you should have the fair market value of the truck. We have received an offer from the city of Stevenson, and I believe that is up to you to decide if you want to accept that offer or not.
Okay. And the offer is
$15,000.
$15,000. Okay.
Now, and this fair market value is based on if it goes to auction, is that?
This is just from our vendor that we've used.
Okay. And you see no reason to keep this rear load truck.
We have an additional rear loader truck that we're keeping.
And also, if I remember right, we did ask the question that whether or not we could accept some values less than what we had an estimated fair market value. If I remember right, the answer was if it serves the public of our county, it is at the discretion of the commission to make that decision.
So, and I'm glad that Stevenson's made this offer. Were other municipalities made aware of this, or was this just something that
Stevenson was in need of a truck and they called and asked us.
okay. So are we under any obligation to post an item like this?
You've done what you need to do, and that is determine what the fair market value is, and if you determine that something slightly less than the fair market value would promote the public interest by serving the city, the people of Stevenson, then you can do that. I'm not sure how many other cities have garbage service like Tuesday does. So there's not,
Bridgeport's the
in
only
Bridgeport, so there are only 3, in addition to Scottsboro.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Is this such essential necessity now that we need to pass them, or can we wait and put it on the agenda for approval of new business next meeting?
Put on the agenda.
Next meeting? Okay, so let's move it to our new business agenda for the 27th. Thanks very much, and thanks for working through that and getting that information for us. Next, Public Works, we have 3 items. So our county engineer, Director of Public Works.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. I believe the first item is the Rebuild Alabama Act County report. So as a follow-up in transparency in the requirements of the Rebuild Alabama Act and its recent passage, and in consistency with projects that were on the county transportation plan that we submit in August of each year, we are required to submit the report that hopefully you find in your folder and looks like this. On that report is a listing of the projects that are completed, and you will notice the last 2 have no dollar amounts in the area of funds that were spent on the projects. County Road 38 and County Road 58. County Road 38 remains to be completed. County Road 58 is substantially complete with exception to the final wearing surface layer, striping, markers that are still awaiting that. The reason $0 are reported in that category is we have received no invoices for that work done until it's complete. So at the time this reporting will be required, those invoices will not be paid. So this report should reflect in its accordance the actual expenditures for those projects.
Any questions? So this is showing that we have gained the benefit on the completion of 4 road activities with our Rebuild Alabama funds.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Okay. Now, do we need to take any specific action on this in regards to
So,
meetings?
yeah, upon your passage, it's a good question. Thank you for saying that. Upon your passage or any changes we need to make and modify by January 1st of the upcoming year, this would need approval, and then we would need to post on the county's website if available. So we, upon passage, we also share with our ACCA partners for them to share with legislators and our reporting requirements, but also we post this on our website.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Next item.
Next, please find a resolution in your folder, or as a supplement to your folder. The language in the resolution recognizes 2 site locations on County Road 38, one over Dry Creek and one over Skelton Branch. One is a small culvert over Skelton Branch. The other is a large bridge structure over Dry Creek. So this is following a local road safety initiative grant program, which we replied to a call for applications and made applications months ago, and received notification in November last month that we were awarded this project pending a 10% match and a resolution of intent by this commission. So that 10% match is near $13,000, and this is a $115,000 project.
Okay, and we need to approve this next meeting and sign next meeting, the resolution.
Yes, this is for your consideration between now and then, and if you'd like more information or more project information, we'll be happy to get that to you. But they are in need of this resolution to secure our funding.
Let me be clear, Jonathan. Do we need to approve and sign for signature today, or can we approve this on the 27th?
Yeah, not today.
Okay,
There's plenty of time for review.
okay, thank you.
Sorry.
All right, next item.
Okay, next I believe should be the County Road 93 and 38 geotechnical consultant selection. So in your folders, you should have a breakdown of the options and our recommendations. But to give an overview and back up just a little, late October, we came to you with a solicitation for proposals, which received your approval. That was a direct solicitation to the list provided in that information that you approved, and that was to be completed and returned to us by November 30. Since November 30, we have made review of the proposals that were submitted, and we have a breakdown of the evaluation criteria that was listed in that solicitation, along with the grades and recommendations that we have for each category of work. The sheet that is supplemented to your folder is a summary of those recommendations, and I'll just start at the top and work through that now. So option 1, option 2, and option 3, as you'll see, are represented, and that represents the 3 returns to those solicitations that we received. Looking at the first category of methodology, 35% weight in that criteria. There's a comparison made between option 1 with a 1D Mass W geophysical procedure that they recommend, 30 borings, 10-foot minimum, rock cores, and they made no mention of inclinometers, which we have noted there, and was part of the listing in our solicitation that we were requiring for geophysical and geotechnical exploration. Option 2, 2D Mass W 16 borings, 8 20-foot minimum rock cores, 8 inclinometers, and then there's an additional rock compressive strength test that they mention as necessary in their geotechnical analyzation. Option 3, ERT, which was one of the recognized geophysical methods in our solicitation. 19 borings, 8 10-foot minimum rock cores, 5 inclinometers, no benefit cost analysis. That'll be mentioned later on in an option as option 3 listed, but it also comes into play a little bit later. In BC analysis, it's just a quick note of benefit cost analysis, in which that solicitation, as a reminder, we had 2 different locations, one on each project, to where we felt the necessity existed to look at potential realignment in some of those locations. So it may be fruitless, but we feel like the damage is such that a different alignment could yield some benefit there versus repair in place. So option 3, scope, does not include that. And they go on to list reasons why. And essentially it was preliminary LiDAR information that they see a realignment being essentially facing the same battles of stabilization as we would be with the existing alignment. So that's the reasoning. However, we still feel like in the small sections, it deserves a fair shake. So, the scoring that exists among option 1, 2, and 3 exists because of those reasons that I've just covered on methodology. Moving on down to estimated cost, you can see how that shakes out, and this was a projected cost. It's projected based on the scope that we identified in that solicitation. However, with the understanding that the geophysical work could dictate additional or change of scope depending on results that we see before geotechnical work is done. So
Now, this cost is just engineering, correct?
just engineering. Everything we're going to talk about is just the work that consultant will provide to arrive at the driving mechanisms of the failure, their anticipation of what caused it, and then their mitigation recommendations on where we need to be going forward to make sure we arrive at a solid repair. Okay, so you can see the cost breakdown in that, and I'll just say again, that's projected and estimated. And then the scoring that resulted, in our opinion, from that breakdown. Schedule at 10%, that's pretty straightforward on option 1 and option 2. Option 3, I need to mention some things. So you'll notice I have a caveat there with quick start. With quick start means this month or next month. There's also language in their proposal that says if it's not this month or next month and we don't monitor the rainy season with the inclinometers, then monitoring should continue until next year's rainy season. So we're into 1 year plus of just monitoring. Okay? And then we put a healthy grade on it, but let me mention this. So with option 1, and to back up a little bit, 1D Mass W, as far as back up in the methodology or what they plan to do. 1D Mass W on the geophysical, 30 borings, and then 10-foot minimum rock cores. The language and where the rock cores are going to occur defers to the geophysical layout and a meeting, a post geophysical meeting that would dictate where the boards go, which is fine, but we're a little unclear on how many of the rock cores, is my point here, would occur. But forgetting that part, there's still 30 boards that have to take place, soil analysis, lab tests, reporting. Inclinometers are not in that mix, but that's a whole lot of work to get done in 11 weeks. So they made that schedule, we didn't, but one eyebrow goes up at 11 weeks on being able to accomplish that. However, that's a tighter line than the others, so hopefully the score reflects that. The low score with option 3 is due to that caveat in a long monitoring process. If we're out there, if we know where we want our geotechnical work, if we know where we want our boards, we know where we want our rock cores, our geophysical part has led us to that. Half the work's done, in my opinion, on having what you need to install the inclinometers. Okay, so we are approaching the wetter months. There's merit in those readings that will come, but a year of analyzing that's, I think that's extreme, in my opinion. Mitigation recommendations. So you have all seen the importance of mitigation recommendations when we get into the next step of evaluating contractor proposals. So when we get into design build and our potential repair contractors are bringing their solution and their tools and coming to us with their approach and plan, we rely heavily on mitigation recommendations on our evaluation basis when it comes to making that selection. So option 1, 2, and 3, roadway, I'll start with 1, roadway and slope embankment engineering recommendations. They make an engineering recommendations language in there But I don't feel like it drops clearly on how we're gonna go about making those mitigation recommendations. Number one, spelling it out clearly, like we're gonna take a look at driving forces. We're gonna take a look at the resistive forces. We're gonna do overall global stability analysis. So we know there's gonna be engineering recommendations, but we wanna know specifically how we're gonna approach that mitigation. And we feel like option 2 really nailed that one the best. Good detail on option 3, however, I'll go back to the no benefit cost analysis. So if we're automatically throwing benefit cost analysis off the table, at least in those small sections, then I feel like we've kind of limited part of our mitigation possibilities, at least on those sections, if it were to make sense. And what they say, they make a lot of valid points. You know, if we don't do any realignments, then we have no right-of-way acquisition. You know, we have no historical preservation. We have no environmental work. All this is true. However, we could see ourselves in a situation to where all those things make sense and we end up with a better end product than maybe we would have had making a repair in place. So they're probably right, okay, about the no benefit costs, but until we go through that exercise, we feel like it's hard to make that call at this stage. Okay, so hopefully those scores reflect mitigation in that report and our recommendation on that and then experience. So this category, option 1, you know, if you're new to the game with us or this is your first submittal with us, then in my opinion, it is necessary to show similar project references. It's extremely necessary to show past performance and success stories, particularly related to the same type failures, similar work in those categories, and list the professionals in your team that are going to be working on this. And that was incomplete in that category for us with option 1. Option 2, this is no stranger to us. They have done work twice for us before, but even before in our evaluation criteria, there were multiple failures in the same formation. They worked on sites in the same proximity in this county, similar sites other than ours, and then working in the same formation in Tennessee and others, and a list of professionals that was supplied and evaluated in accordance with that. Option 3, listed professionals. Okay, and matter of fact, some of the professionals listed were previously at option 2. Okay, now those professionals are at option 3. So they're kind of in startup mode, and the professionals they list I trust. However, this in my opinion is kind of like the replay, in a football game. The ruling on the field is what we picked, and when it comes to this experience category, the video evidence needs to otherwise overturn it. So I have conviction with our choices in the past, and it served us well with the professionals and the projects that were listed. And there's trust there in those other professionals that are with option 3. So hopefully that explains the close grade in that category. So the total score is at the bottom, and for us, option 2 leads in the scoring on the evaluation criteria. And I will go on to say that all the full reports are available for review tonight. I have those with me, or if you'd prefer electronic review, we're happy to get those to you for your live reading.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Do the bids, are these going to be simultaneous projects, or are they going to be one then the other?
So we purposefully listed 93 kind of first. I don't know that any of these options will pounce on both with just unlimited resources, but I see it working one, then working the other. So there shouldn't be a break in work there. It'll just move from one to the next, is the way I see it.
I mean, obviously, there's gonna be a transfer of materials and equipment and things that would, I mean.
Yeah, so this, this is just, this will just be, as far as equipment, drill rigs, and then a lot of this geophysical work is done with either electrical devices in the ground, and then a land streamer. It's like geophones, smaller equipment, or sledgehammer. Sledgehammer is usually the energy device for the mass W, and then they're just reading setup. So the largest equipment mobilization will be a drill rig, which will do the soil sampling and then the rock core.
For completion of these projects, budgetary wise, I mean, are we gonna be able to take both those in one budgetary year, or will they need to be separated, or?
No issues there.
Okay, any other questions, comment?
Are you concerned at all, and I may be jumping ahead here, on 38 at the top, are we gonna have to move that? Are we looking at moving that road at all?
So, particularly the cut through the top and then the first hairpin,
Yes.
that was something of interest with us about potential relocation possibilities. And so the terrain, the steepness of the terrain is a large factor in that. Depth of rock is another large factor. Then we get into things like we've dealt with before: landowner cooperation, acquisition, right-of-way acquisition, okay, and then our permitting processes that may exist there. So we have, in my opinion, we have to get apples to apples with all of that. So it takes some analyzation of what we have and what we're looking at repairing that. And then it takes some analyzation on, okay, if we feel okay about that cost and what we have in the end, now let's step back and take a 50,000 up on if we realign and put some numbers on that, at least the best we can, to get some comparison. And we're not ultimate in this decision, just as a reminder. So benefit cost analysis is a FEMA procedure, and we will have to check all their boxes in this procedure to make sure that they're on board with a different alignment choice if it comes to that.
So the second hairpin curve down the mountain there, about 100 feet out into the woods, there's already a big sink. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but
Yes, sir.
that's going to be a major issue coming up. We might have to look at that. Are we going to look at that now, or are we going to wait? Or?
So anything beyond our right-of-way, obviously that would be something that would not be in the declared event. So it's off limits for this funding. However, if it encroaches into our right-of-way and threatens our roadway, it'll definitely be something we have to address. So I don't know that none of this work would be in that scope or fair game for funding reimbursement.
Question, sort of looking down the road, when you finish this engineering analysis and you have the reports, how soon would you be able to then transition to working contracts to work 93 and 38?
So once we have that information in hand, that's a major component to our solicitation for design build. So we would follow the same model that we've done on 17 and 189.
Okay.
That is information they need in hand to dial in their proposal. So, we're looking at, we would put together a solicitation for review by this body. Once it's approved, then we're in bid format, okay? We have to satisfy the advertisement period, receive those solicitations back, review, and then come before you with a.
And you would start that process as soon as you have this information?
Yes, sir. We would do that.
Okay. Do we need to make a decision today, or do we have time to review that and bring it back to the commission at our next meeting?
I appreciate the urgency, but I would recommend review and comfort in what we have recommended. We feel conviction about these scores, but we want you all to feel the same before we move forward.
Any thoughts on that? So let's bring it to our next
Next
meeting.
meeting.
Okay. So we'll do that and we'll put it on the new business agenda for the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Anything else?
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thanks. And again, we will defer item C to our next meeting. So with that, no further work session items. We'll move to reports from the staff. First, county administrator.
I don't have anything extra, thank you.
County engineer, any further?
Thank you, Chairman. One last thing. So, it should look like this in your folder. I feel it's important to update you on this project. This is the latest in the safety initiative, and it refers to a project similar to the one you just heard from us on the guardrail enhancements at the 2 locations on County Road 38. This is a sister grant that was approved, solicitation that was approved by this commission, and that work is completed. So at the 4 locations in the photos, you can see the difference in the before and after photos on that grant. And I just wanted to run through the grants starting from 2019 all the way through the one that you're considering now with that resolution. So in 2019, County Road 77 was a striping, LED sign, raised pavement markers, and rumble strips were part of that safety enhancement. In 2020, we were awarded a grant for striping and LED signs on County Road 21. That's downtown, headed out to the first S-curve. So upgrading, striping, LED signs, and markers. And then last year is this project you're seeing now. It's guardrail and end anchors, which included some of the bridge rail retrofits on County Road 23, 33, 19, and County Road 372. And then for your consideration that we discussed tonight is guardrail and end anchors on 2 bridges on County Road 38. And so that would be paired with the work that we have planned on 38 in Rebuild, Alabama. Okay, so that's near 4 miles of that road that will be touched. So altogether, just north of $300,000 from 19 to present in these grants that were awarded. So Ms. Charity Manning and her team, they work hard on these applications, on wording, on picking projects that make priority, because we're in competition with counties throughout the state. So I just want to acknowledge the work done by those folks, and I'm happy to report to you that that's over $300,000 they pulled down at a 10% match on our part. So thank you.
And anything y'all can do to improve safety, and obviously each one of these makes each one of those spots safer. So thank you for that. I wish that each one of them had the striping that 23 is getting, and I know that comes from another source as well. But on our roads, it's something that I think a center line would be very beneficial. And so as we look at grant opportunities or funding in the future, I would be inclined to support having at least some kind of center line indication, so that when we have foggy conditions or low visibility, that you're able to stay between the ditches.
Yes, sir.
And an unrelated, Buck's Pocket. We had a speaker recently that came and talked to us about Buck's Pocket, and I hope that you and I can get out there soon. What in your determination from the top of the hill there, I don't know what that road is that goes actually into Buck's Pocket. There's an increased amount of traffic that's going in and out of there, and we want them to feel safe to come in and out the Jackson County side. Where are we on reviewing that? Can we do a traffic count or anything on that side to help expedite that?
So the lady that spoke with us, she made mention of 2 areas. One was the road into Buck's Pocket, and the other was Matheny Bridge approach on what she thought to be the DeKalb County side. So we reviewed both of those locations. Okay. and there may be some confusion on where the county line exists there, but the road on our part going into Buck's Pocket is
It's good.
leaps and bounds
Yeah,
above
that's good.
the DeKalb County roads that come into there. So we felt like after review of that must be the driving force for the comments that were made. And same holds true for Matheny. You know, we rehabilitated that bridge with a modified concrete overlay, but the DeKalb County approach, which would be the DeKalb County into that bridge, that particular section is very rough, but that is beyond our county limits. So we actually did some patching. There was very shallow scab areas to where a top layer released on some of that road in there, and we patched with a Durapatcher. That was the same process we used on 491. Okay, patched some of those areas. Now she has some validity in her comments when it comes to that rail that leads down in there. Tree has fallen on some. It was a very old rail, and the reason it stayed the way it is because it's rustic. It's actually rustic rail. Okay, so it's an old rail. It's done with old post, and it looks old, and that was on purpose. So when it comes to in-house replacement of that, we're struggling with being able to match that. We have located some old rail, but we're going to have to get creative on how we reproduce those posts, the blockouts, and get those sections put back in, particularly if they're radius. That's where in-house we struggle with. So don't give up on us yet on that. Let us work on it and see what we can do. But matching that back is no easy task.
I'm just thankful because, you know, again, from a tourist and a pride perspective, Buck's Pocket is one of our true jewels.
Yes, sir.
And I don't want there to be a poor reflection of, oh, look at this road coming into this as a deterrent for Jackson County. I want us to put our best face forward. And hopefully, you know, as traffic grows there, that businesses will also spring up, maybe some additional camps and stores and things, maybe restaurants and things to take advantage of the traffic that's there. And so hopefully it's an area that I think we need to make sure we've got good access to.
Yes, sir. And if we have misunderstood the lady's comments, please advise. We appreciate the comments. Oftentimes things exist out there and we simply just don't know about it. So we always appreciate the comments.
Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you. Next, our county attorney.
Anything?
Let me go around the room. Council agent.
I'll
Any
just like
comments?
to wish everybody a happy holiday season and be safe.
And Ms. Green, anything
I don't have
else?
anything.
Mr. Coggins,
Merry Christmas. That's all I got today.
Revenue Commission, mapping.
Ross?
All right, Ross.
Nothing, sir.
Okay. With that, comments from our commission, District 4, Commissioner McBride.
Yes, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hopefully, this will be time that you can spend with your family, and let's not take advantage of the time and take time for granted. Just keep people in your prayers. It's going to be a tough one for us and our family. But I'm sure there's a lot out there that could say the same thing, but y'all stay safe. Thank you.
District 3, Commissioner Butler.
Yes, thank you, Mr. McBride. Absolutely, it's a wonderful opportunity to celebrate and be mindful of the true reason for this holiday. Please be respectful of folks that are going to be alone and adjusting, as you're talking about, for those that have been deployed and unable to come home. And let's just be good neighbors. I think that's the thing that we're lacking the most. And I think if we were to return to normal, that's what we really mean is to be good citizens and good neighbors. And I look forward to those days. So Merry Christmas.
We wish Commissioner Venable get well soon. I know he was feeling pretty bad this morning when we had a chance to meet, and so all the best to him. District 1, Commissioner Rich.
I'd just like to tell everyone happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Of course, we'll be back on the 26th. Remember the people that's been displaced in Kentucky through the tornadoes. We're very fortunate that we have seen what they're going through back in 2011, and I think everybody done exceptionally well on the cleanup and everything in our area. So I'm pretty sure there'll be local power companies be dispatched out there through the holiday seasons, and some of them will be without their families. Just pray for them, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thanks very much, and absolutely agree. I also want to say Merry Christmas to our county team here, as well as all the citizens of the county, and we hope to have a great time and a safe time this Christmas with traveling, whether you're going to visit for Christmas or you're having visitors come and family come. So Merry Christmas and certainly a Happy New Year. I agree with Commissioner Rich on our thoughts and prayers for those folks that were victims across the Southeast, Kentucky and Mississippi and Arkansas and Tennessee. And if I remember right, the town of Stevenson is doing a drive to collect items. And so those that have the chance to support that, we would say as a commission, thanks very much for doing that. With that, our next meeting date is Monday, December the 27th, right after our Christmas holiday. And so with that, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I make that motion to adjourn.
Motion second. All in favor say aye. Thanks very much.